Hi everyone, just want to say a warm hello to you from myself, from Anna, from Samuel. And we just pray that you're keeping well and you're keeping safe. And that no matter what you're going through right now, you would say the joy of the Lord is my strength. So I want us to share a quick thought with you in the next few minutes. But before we do that, I was just wondering if you would join me. Just a couple of minutes just to worship God.
You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. Is your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, we pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. Great are you, Lord. You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, we pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. Great are you, Lord. Only earth will shout your praise, our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. All the earth will shout your praise, our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. Great are you, Lord. Hallelujah. Great are you, Lord. All the earth will shout your praise, our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are response will sing, great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. Great are you, Lord.
Amen. Amen. Just want to share with you the next few minutes just a thought that was in my heart last night and the day before. And I was going to write this down like I normally do once a week, but I thought it would be good if I spoke to you today and just to share with you in my own words what I felt and how I believe that the Lord would have us be encouraged. We do serve a good God, as I just sang the song. And I believe you join with me or you hum with me if you're watching this, saying, great are you, Lord. You're the one who gives life. You're the one who gives hope. You're the one who I love. You're the one who restores. You brings hope into the darkest situations. And about 11 years ago, I remember we were going through a difficult patch in our lives. And I saw a vision at that time. And in this vision, I was in a state of sleep or slumber, and as I woke up, I found myself in a boat. The boat didn't have any sails on it. The boat wasn't being rowed by anybody, and yet the boat was moving quite fast. And with every passing moment, this boat seemed to be going faster and faster. And I remember looking around myself with first confusion because I wasn't sure what was happening in my life, and then suddenly this uneasy feeling that I was going in a certain direction with reckless speed almost, with momentum building up, and yet I had no control over what was happening. I tried looking around to get a bearing on where I was, and I couldn't see anything. There seemed to be thick fog just over my head level and all the way around the boat. All I could see was probably just an arm's width outside the boat. And that was all. The waters were dark. They're quite troubled. They were quite churning. And the boat was going fast. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to get out of this mess. Anyway, all of a sudden, I remember I tried to stand up to see, maybe I could see through the fog. But it was just too deep, too thick. The mist was it was solid basically. I couldn't see anything. All of a sudden, the boat came to a jarring halt. And because of the momentum, I fell backwards into the boat, into the bottom of the boat. Anyway, I remember thinking all of a sudden, I'm not quite sure what's happened over here. But what I could see was, I could hear a mighty roar just on the other side of the fog. And I could see that my boat was precariously tittering on whatever it was that was holding this boat together and holding it in one place. I had this sense of desperation that I needed to get out of this situation, but I didn't know how. And it's one of those strange moments where all of a sudden I had this out-of-body experience, and it was still myself, but I kind of went behind myself, and I could see me in the boat looking in the forward direction. What amazed me at that moment in time was all of a sudden I realized that actually, as I'm looking down on myself in this out-of-body experience, I wasn't alone. There was a man standing to the left of me. He had a white robe. He had shoulder-length brown hair. I think he had a beard. I wasn't sure because I couldn't see very well. All I could see was just the very side profile over here, hair at the back and white gown. He wasn't speaking to me, and yet I heard every word as he spoke. It's almost like the hearts were connected. The spirit was joined. And then the next thing I hear him say within my heart, if I could use that word, or in my spirit, was him saying to me, quickly now, you have to get to the shore. And I was like, it's easy for you to say that. I can't even see outside the boat, let alone where the shore is. And he said to me, be ready now, with a sense of desperation and urgency in his voice, which took my attention. And he said, I'm going to grab you by your collar and I'm going to haul you across, like chuck you across to the shore. And I was like, is he for real? Next thing you know, this man grabs me from the scruff of my collar, from the loops of my belt, and physically throws me across the waters. I go flying and I land quite clumsily on solid ground the other side. It was phenomenal. Anyway, I stand up, a little bit sheepish at how clumsily I fell down. I dust myself and I turn back. Now I'm back in my own self, no longer an out-of-body experience. And I look to the left and my right and I can't see anybody over there. And I look back to where the boat was and I suddenly realized the boat was on an outcrop piece of rock right at the edge of a really steep waterfall. I couldn't see the bottom of it. All I could hear was this mighty thundering roar of churning fast, rapid waters going down. You imagine Niagara Falls, something like that. Had this man not chucked me across the waters from the boat onto land, I would have gone down into the depths and no doubt died. I then got to my senses and I turned around and I looked behind myself as to where I was. Where was it that I landed? And I remember looking back behind me and all of a sudden I was quite dismayed because I saw behind me was decay. It was like stagnant stuff. When water stops running flow, everything's rotting. There's a smell, there's an odor there. Gas is going up and down. In other words, everything was rotten. And I remember thinking to myself, this is it, I'm doomed for life. On one side is the waterfall. I can't cross over there. Behind me is nothing but barrenness, rottenness. Everything is just dead and dying and decay. It's wasteland. It's marshland. I'm stuck here forever. There's no hope. There's nothing for me. No future for me. How am I ever going to get out of this situation? Amazingly, as I said that, I found myself again in an out-of-body experience. From behind, looking down on myself. And once again, I saw this man with shoulder-length brown hair, a white robe, what looked like a sash around his waist. And once again, he wasn't speaking to me, and yet I heard every word he said. And he says, don't be afraid. And I was like, what do you mean, don't be afraid? I'm stuck in this situation. And he says, lift up your eyes. I want you to look beyond your gaze. Don't look at the waterfall. Look beyond the waterfall. What do you see? What I saw was goodness. What I saw was life. What I saw was health. It was amazing. I saw blessings. I saw prosperity. Now, prosperity doesn't always mean money. Prosperity is your soul could be prosperous. Your spirits inside of you could be prosperous. It means you're doing well. For a moment, I was encouraged, and then immediately after, again, I was discouraged, thinking, well, it's nice that I can see something the other side. Would have been better if there was a way that would enable me to get to that other side. There seemed to be no way. And you know what this man says to me? He says, listen, Daniel, I've brought you this far. I will take you further. And then he pointed to the edge of the waterfall. And all of a sudden, what I found, and I hadn't seen before, was this tiny dirt track that ran parallel to the edge of the cliff. And gradually it went down, 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 past the waterfall. And I could see a path in the distance going to this place of blessing and prosperity up ahead. See, that moment in time when I thought there was no hope, when I thought I'm doomed forever, when I thought I was marooned, when I thought I would never get out of that sticky situation, that situation where everything was messy and there's no future, everything was just smelled, it was stagnancy, it was waste, it was decay, it was broken, and it seemed like nothing could be fixed. He says, listen, lift up your eyes. You know, the psalmist says, lift up my eyes. Where does my help come from? I believe that man was Jesus. And he was telling me, I've never left you. I've never forsaken you. I've been with you this far, and I'm going to be with you till the bitter end or the better end, whichever way you see it. He says, I'm with you to the end. And as I was thinking about this dream, my mind went to Psalms 91. And it says, he will give his angels charge over you, to watch over you, to protect you. Can I encourage you today, very quickly in closing? No matter what situation you're going through, no matter what you're facing right now, know this. He knows what you're going through. Know this. He's in your boat. Know this. He's in your situation. No matter where you are, in the darkest, most despairing places of all of your life, he says, I am with you. I have never once left your side. I'm with you through this entire journey. It says in Jeremiah 29, verse 11, it says, I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. They're plans of good, to give you a hope and a future. They're not there to harm you. You know, the King James Version says they're to give you an expected end. Today, can I tell you, the plans God has for your life are to give you the kind of end that he expects for your life. Trust in him. Lean into him. Press into him. And can I tell you this? He knows the plans he has for you, and they are not plans for harm. His ways may not be our ways, but his ways are the best ways. Hang in there. You know what? It's never over till it's really over. And when we put our trust in him, it never is over. There's always something better. I just want you to know today, Jesus loves you. God loves you. And he says, I've got good plans for you. You may think there's no way out of the situation, but he says, I'm with you. I've already made a pathway for you. Just put your trust in me. The Lord bless you.